Dirty Sports Podcast. I said, welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Port Hueneme, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
What's going on?
Oh, you know, just fucking motherfucking life. 4 a.m. New York time. So that's what, 1 a.m. California time. Wake up this morning, early morning flight, work, home, got home. The garage door does not work for some reason. No internet when I got here. Like, did rats eat the wires while I was gone? What's happening?
So all that happened.
All that happened. I don't know if you also saw and shout out / apologies to all the people that tried to come to my shows this weekend in Yonkers, which sounds like a lot of dirtballs were coming based on my mentions and based on my DMs, but no shows in Yonkers this weekend because of motherfuckery. So yeah, man. Splendid New York trip right up until Friday, and then the shit hit the fan, and we haven't been the same since.
So the whole weekend was canceled.
Canceled. Like fucking, like a celebrity saying the N-word in 2020. Like canceled. Extra canceled.
So how's that? So like, you probably can't tell me too much on air, I assume.
Oh, I can tell you, we're behind a paywall here. Smells of some fuckery, but we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt in the meantime while you know, things are getting sorted, while investigations are happening. But yeah, last minute cancellation on Friday, gas leak. But the gas leak was fixed, but Con Edison didn't come out and clear them. So blah, blah, blah. And then I'm doing research and they haven't had shows in 3 weeks. And I'm like, oh, you've been canceling. Why would you tell me the day of if this is an ongoing issue?
3 weeks.
So now I'm like, you remember what happened with my landlord, right? You remember what happened with my landlord who tried to take some deposit money from me?
Yeah.
I found him saying horrible things on the internet. I finally got the owner on the phone on Saturday and was like, listen, man, if my people don't all get a refund and I don't get all my money, you've hosted your last comedy show. I know you think you're some slick New York comedy club owner. I go, you don't know who you're dealing with. I go, you're putting it out all over the internet. You got a leaky gas? You got some leaking gas? Well, I guess when your club explodes, it won't be that suspicious then. Give me my fuck you, pay me.
Dude, that's sus, man.
Yeah. But we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. We're letting the refund process take place and we're letting the payments be made. And then, you know, right now you've been warned, but I'm going to take you at face value. You had a gas leak. You had Con Ed. Listen, I've dealt with New York Con Ed. I get how a Yonkers Con Ed. My buddy Brian, who you know very well, put it on my Instagram. He's like, sounds like somebody didn't drop off an envelope. And that's pretty true. Like in New York, like they're putting you at the bottom of the pile unless you grease the wheels a little bit. And then all of a sudden your gas leak doesn't cancel 3 weeks of shows. You know, you could get all your shows canceled for a month, or you could help out my cousin Vito when he comes by the club tomorrow, and we'll make sure your gas is back on for the Joe Prano shows Friday. We know he's from here. You don't want to disappoint his fans, you know. So who knows? Who knows what kind of fuckery? But my sincerest apologies to dirtballs who are listening to this show, friends who are listening to this show, who wanted to come to the show and were met with a locked club. It had nothing to do with me.
So, I'm looking at their website now. So, 3 weeks. That's pretty sketchball right there.
Yeah.
Like they were really close for 3 weeks.
But sending me things like on Wednesday and Thursday and like whatever, like up until the show time, it's like we're doing this. Till like 4 hours out when I hit the road from the Hamptons, and they were like, "Don't come," and I was like, "Well, motherfucker, you tell me."
Did they know you were in town from California?
No, once I got the guy on the phone, he's like, "I didn't know you were in town from California." I go, "Okay, here we go."
By the way, not that has to.
Because guess what, Andy? If I wasn't performing there, I could have performed at Finney Brand Stress Factory in New Jersey. I could have been performing up at Laugh Boston. I could have come to New York and then flown halfway back and performed in Chicago at Zany's. I could have done. There's a million things I could have done with my weekend.
You could have watched the Olympics.
Could have watched the Olympics, which I ended up doing. Let's talk. Let's set this aside and let's talk Olympics.
I watched basically the whole USA Serbia game yesterday.
Oh, okay. I didn't watch any of it.
I watched a
lot of swimming though.
They looked good.
Now I know the drama already. Let's talk about it. I don't know if you've dug in. So here's what I was following. Here's what I was following on the internet. So yesterday, I had to get from. So Saturday night, did some stuff. Came down from the city, stayed at a buddy's place. Sunday, we did a little Italian Sunday meal at my sister's. I had to get up. I had to do like fake uncling at a friend's house, eggy breakfast with his daughter. Then we had to go to Uncle Giuseppe's and get some fucking Italian stuff. And by the time I made it over to my sister's and I threw on the Olympics, the game had just ended. But I was following it on my phone. Kevin Durant, who is essentially bench, not bench, but like DNP injury, he shows up and he's unstoppable. And also Jason Tatum doesn't play. A minute.
So I turned it on. I didn't play. I watched the whole game minus. USA was down 8 when I put it on. I think they were down 10 early in the first quarter. So that's basically when I put it on. And KD gets in the game. He's unstoppable. Like, I'm talking just couldn't miss. It was pretty amazing. And here's the thing. I guess I wasn't, full disclosure, I'm watching it, but I also have like a 1.5-year-old in the basement that I'm playing with. You know how it is. So it's like they kept showing Tatum the camera on the sideline, like congratulating the players, and I wouldn't think much of it, but now it all makes sense. So yeah, he didn't play, but they played well as a team, and I think Derek White nabbed a lot of his minutes too. So, but he played really good defense.
Yeah,
that's why he's on the team. I thought they looked pretty good. Now, I assume Serbia is probably the top contender outside of the United States.
Listen, do I know that offhand? No,
I don't know.
I would think that maybe there's some deeper teams. I'm sure they're pretty top heavy with Jokic. You do have an MVP caliber player, not an MVP caliber
Jokic,
player,
Bogdanovic.
Yeah. But I don't know if a France or a Spain or whatever or like I don't know.
Canada's got a lot of NBA players.
Yeah. I don't know. But obviously, one thing that's always happened in international ball is that like those guys, the one guy on the team who's good, like they become unstoppable. They become like, you would think it would be like, oh my God, well, the US has 10 guys there, but like a lot of times that one dude, like a lot of times you'll get like the the rando player who's like the one dude on Canada or the one dude on, and they go fucking bananas. And with Jokic having played against so many of these guys, multi-time MVP, etc., I wouldn't be surprised if they're a top contender because people just say, oh, he's going to score 50 points a game. But I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they played pretty well. I mean, they ended up whooping their ass. Now, it was close for a bit. U.S. made a nice push in the first half. Then you had Serbia who kept mounting some comebacks. But
now,
I was also
let me ask you something. What happened to Montenegro? Did that whole thing is that country exist anymore?
That was it Serbia and Montenegro?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I don't know. Jokic ate them. I don't know. All of them.
Also, let's just call it what it is. That translates to Mount Negro. That's a wild place.
Yeah, well,
it's essentially a Charles Barkley of countries, the round mound of rebound.
I don't know what happened to them. In fact, we can look it up though. That's the power of the internet.
Or we just just let it fly. It's fine.
No,
we don't have to get sidetracked. What happened to Montenegro?
I want to know. Now I want to know.
So, like, you mean Monte Ellis? He retired.
The State Union of Serbia and Montenegro, or simply Serbia and Montenegro, known until 2003. Wait, what? And then it was the Federal Republic of. Look, you're not giving me much. Okay. I guess it all changed. I mean, this is a deep history here.
Okay. It's fine.
But regardless, they looked pretty good.
Okay.
You had Dwayne Wade announcing, doing the color commentary with Noah Eagle, the young Iron Eagle's son, the young like budding star. And they seemed to go pretty well. But the crowd was really into it. You could see. Now, Joel Embiid getting loudly booed by the French.
And apparently did not play very well?
Did not play very well.
I'm not saying Joel Embiid's a bitch, but like you got the French fans are getting you off their game.
Well, he had the option.
Nice shot, Embiid.
Bad fouls, like early foul. I think he had the option. So he's from Cameroon, but I think it's a French-speaking nation. I think he might have also had the option to play for France. The option to play for teams always gets very confusing.
Yeah.
Well,
you basically just need citizenship.
Correct.
Pretty easy to get citizenship in a lot of countries around. I can be an Italian citizen because my dad was born there. In fact, I think you could be an Italian citizen if your granddad was born there.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't know if you remember, it was always funny that one Olympics, Chris came and played for Germany.
Yeah.
Although he does have German vibes to him.
Yeah, for sure.
We need that like ratty long hair. So Embiid did not play well.
Ratatouille! You stink, Embiid! You smell like my mother's armpits.
But the Tatum, I was reading all the stuff today. That's the big headlines. Is Tatum played 0 seconds.
Feels like it's and I haven't checked in on him today. I had a busy day, but it feels like it's just like, is Steve Kerr just like trying to get like a Bill Simmons emergency pod going?
Well, I think he said that, these guys, part of the agreement when you play for like a all-star team like this is that he said it's literally going to be game by game for a lot of guys. And he goes, you got to, and his thing was, you have to get them to buy in that, hey, I might play a lot this game, but then the matchup wise, I don't play as well the next game. The main thing was they wanted to push the ball. They wanted to do a faster pace against Serbia. And the argument was that Tatum he kind of doesn't bring the ball up quickly.
Also, let's be honest. You could take Jason Tatum off this team, not miss a beat. You could take LeBron James off this team and not miss a beat. You could take Steph off this team. Like, you could take any one single guy off this team. Jason Tatum's 26, 25, 26. You have Steph, KD, LeBron. You got like veteran, all-star, all-time NBA guys on this team. You don't need. Do I think Jason Tatum is better than those guys? No, I don't. But you don't need to play your best guys to win. You could play like you went to a pretty legit football high school. I am assuming that some seniors played on your team where the juniors were better than them, but they backed them up, or the sophomores were better than them. They backed them just because like there's a system in place here. I mean, you look at like University of Miami through the years, think about like the running back or the like tight end situation, or like any of those positions. Like, was Frank Gore better than Clinton Portis, or was this guy better than fucking like some of them probably sat just because they were younger, even if they were better. Like Jason Tatum, you sit behind LeBron. Like, that's just like something that happens.
Yeah. No, I think Tatum played. Yeah, I'm correct. He did play in the last Olympics, which was just 3 years ago.
Right. But that was before that was when these guys didn't all come back. This is all these vets coming.
True.
They all didn't do this last time.
Well, what's interesting about this team is you do have that. You have the old guys, the quote unquote old guys, LeBron, Steph, KD. Then you got the real young guys.
Yeah.
And then you got kind of Tatum was be like more middle of the road at this point, but you have like an Anthony Edwards. You got some just real young guys. And Dwayne Wade was talking about that. You have you have a nice mix of kind of a 3-tiered roster of NBA experience with these guys. To me, again, it's just one game, and I hadn't really watched the exhibition games because I don't really care about those. To me, it looked like they were having a lot of fun. They were all enjoying it on the sideline.
I am excited to watch it. I don't know when their next game is, and it seems like this is for sure the toughest team in their group. Their group seems pretty chill beyond that, right?
Yeah, I have it up here right now. It's let's see here. Who is it? The group is Puerto Rico, Serbia, South Sudan. I don't know when they just became. I don't know how they went from Sudan to South Sudan. I don't know. You talk about Serbia and Montenegro. I don't know how that happened.
More Sudan in the house.
We the North. Yeah. So it looks like that probably would be their hardest game. But I mean, shit. Like I was saying, you look at a lot of these teams. I was just looking at Canada's roster. It's like, I mean, you got Jamal Murray, SGA, RJ Barrett, like it's all NBA players. Andrew Nembhard, Dylan Brooks, Kelly Olynyk. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't compare to the USA roster, but my point is, like these rosters now, they're pretty stacked.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But Japan made it to the final 12, huh? That's interesting to see. You know what's crazy to me? Like China's got all those people. China couldn't make the Olympics for basketball. They couldn't be a top 12 global team.
I don't know if you know anything about the stature of your average Chinese man.
You're saying Yao was an outlier.
Yeah, the only guys and you've seen the 17-year-old like chick, right? We showed her on the show, I think, dunking on fucking it. The only ones they have are the COVID players, and by that I mean the ones created in the lab. So yeah, those are the only people over 5'9" in the whole country.
But Japan's gonna make it?
Taller. Slightly, but taller.
Are you just making that up?
No, I'm not.
Japanese people are slightly,
for sure.
You're just making that up. You don't know.
I may be making it up, but I also think I know. Can we talk about already the far and away the best performance of the Olympics? Snoop Dogg's agent. How does he get how? Why?
I wondered, well, how is
Like
Snoop
how?
involved?
What? Like not only forget that he's involved. Okay, like Serena Williams there, Lady Gaga had a performance. How is Snoop Dogg getting more airtime on the Olympics than Mike Tirico? The Snoop Dogg is on the Olympics more than Bob Costas in like the fucking 88 games. Like, why is Snoop Dogg leading the Olympics hosting? And how is he everywhere simultaneously? Like, his agent's amazing. They're like, listen, he's going to cover every sport. He's going to show up at every single practice of every single sport. And you'll get some clips of him in a fucking warm-up suit being like, I'm fence dizzling my nizzle. And then, but he's going to do it for every sport. And you got to give him $40 million.
You know, Snoop truly, his career should be studied. I mean, he really should. Like, we're older.
He's like, beach volley bizzle. And you're like, how did you get there? You were just fencing.
But look at his career arc.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at with us being older. Doggy Style comes out. He's in gangster rap. He's from Long Beach. He's in the middle of all the Death Rovers, Bad Boy feuds. He's on trial for murder.
Yeah.
Murder? I'm not saying he did it, but look, he's on trial for murder.
And I'll tell you one thing he definitely murdered was Martha Stewart's pussy. And he still is hosting the Olympics.
And then I've said this before. A lot of people don't know this. When I was in college, then he pivoted to literally running a porn production company.
Yeah.
Snoop was doing porn. And then he arced it to being like the cool guy who is now doing the Olympics, the commercials, Martha Stewart. It's truly a fascinating career arc.
What is your feeling so far on the NBC production of the Olympics?
I mean, you've probably watched more than me. I feel like
all the hosting things feel very forced.
Like the Colin Jost thing.
I don't even want to get started. I already have one podcast where I like this. Like, I don't even want to get started on like the whole fucking Last Supper, all that. Like, I don't give a fuck about any of that shit at all. Just the hosting things. Like, what is Peyton Manning doing there? What? He's just like, he's sitting there with Tirico and Kelly Clarkson. He's like, a lot of people have been asking what happened to Montenegro. I don't know, but I'll tell you that in the 2016 Super Bowl, that was one of our audibles. I'd come to the line, I'd say Montenegro, 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 and that just meant that the X would do a little option route, and you come in and you're like, what does this have to do with beach volleyball?
Yeah, I definitely feel it's forced. And the bits that they're doing, the surfing bits are on the beach with Colin Jost. It's just, but here's what we can't forget.
We're going to send it over to Colin Jost. He's out there doing the surfing thing. I once went surfing with Cooper behind a tanker in the Gulf. It's pretty great. Got some po' boys after for lunch. I don't know if you know this. My dad's name's Archie. And there's a lot of arches here in France. So that's something.
We can't forget, though, it's network TV, which means it's going to be corny. Right? Because you and I probably
And then they're like, Kelly Clarkson, you've never performed any sort of athletic feat in your entire life by the looks of you. What's your thoughts on gymnastics?
So, like, my girlfriend's addicted to the gymnastics and the swimming. Like,
I'm already hyped on the swimming. Do you want to one of the greatest swimming moments in recent Olympic memory. You got to go back to Phelps for me to get hyped as I was when that Italian breaststroker touched that wall before those other two, like 200ths of a second.
You want to hear a wild Andy Ruther idea I tossed out last night, which just gave me that's stupid and you're not funny and just like shut up look. Olympics are on. I'm like, okay, hear me out. Here's an idea to make it more interesting. When they're swimming, they release sharks. And like, if you get bit, you get bit, man. Like, this is part of the Olympics. Like, if you get attacked, the race keeps going on. What do we think? Release sharks into the pool?
I think that's crazy, Manizzle. What are we doing with sharks, man?
Well, here's the thing: being in Paris, I think it definitely has an allure for the athletes, right? Just that such a a city with such history. You have good shots. I like the skyline shots.
Yeah.
I
liked the boat down the river opening ceremony. I kind of liked it.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch it.
So the opening ceremonies were just like every team was like on a boat. Some
Sure,
were
I
on
knew
small,
that.
some were on big boats. But it's like everybody's like, why are we doing this? It's like the other option is that they all walk into a stadium and walk around a track. And then we just have like a super long halftime show.
So the USA men's commentary was Tarico and Don Staley. That's not good. She's just not interesting. And those two, it's just there's no rapport at all. I didn't think that was good. That halftime show, I basically muted. I walked up the Eiffel Tower, like you could take it if you've been there, right?
Have.
So like you take an elevator to the top.
Yeah.
My buddies and I are like, let's do the stairs because it'll be fun.
You know who didn't say that? Kelly Clarkson.
It's not fun.
Definitely
by the way.
did not say.
She definitely didn't do that. It's not fun, by the way. I got because it's not that wide. I started to get a little. I kept looking down. You at the time, I don't know if it's changed. When I was there in like the early 2000s, you're just walking up like these.
So the only time I was on the Eiffel Tower was when I was very young, and my dad put me on his shoulders and like leaned over the edge. And I think it's the reason I'm afraid of heights to this day. Like I was scared as fuck. I've been to France twice, but I've only been to the Eiffel Tower once. I think I was like 5. To this day, I remember the fear in my heart of my dad taking me up on that little fucking janky ass elevator and then like basically Michael Jacksoning me over the side.
Wow.
Yeah.
That could have had an effect on you at a young age.
I to this day, I hate heights and I hate the French. To this day.
I almost lost the flat that I was living in Spain. I almost lost my keys at a porn stand. True story, in Paris. Like I bought a bunch of Paris like smut magazines, a bunch of French magazines. But when I pulled out my money,
Le Beaver.
When I pulled out my money, I left my keys like on the whatever just like
un, deux, trois.
We were like 10, 15 minutes walking past that.
Rat-a-titties.
I told my buddies, I go, my keys. I don't have them. I go, dude, I left them at the little newsstand where I bought a bunch of smut magazines. I was like, I gotta walk back.
You got back, and the guy was like, you got home to jerk off, and you realized you did not have a keys. Looks like you will be jacking it to Le Beaver a little later than you soft little man.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And you were like, Eiffel Towers when you fuck 2 dudes fuck 1 chick. Andy, we got a spider.
Oh, he's busting out the Jack Nicholson Batman gun.
Boom. Blasted that fool.
Did they explode?
Yeah. With this thing, dude, with the fucking CO2 one, they explode. And it's amazing.
I'm going to pull this comment up here from Chris. I haven't fully followed this. The Olympic controversies. The Canadian women's coach booted for spying on teams with a drone. I saw the headline. The men's volleyball player that banged a 12-year-old. What?
Wait, hold on. Canadian women's coach of what? What sport? Because what, like,
Who's the men's volleyball? Who's the guy who banged a 12-year-old?
I mean, I know I skipped over that, but
Let me see.
the picture of the men's volleyball player is just snooping a visor.
Soccer. Wait, what's that?
The men's volleyball player who fucked a 12-year-old is just snooping a visor, and he's like, "Side out, bitches."
They were deducted 6 points in drone spying scandal.
Huh.
Yeah, see, we missed the good stuff. Band coach Bev Priestman heartbroken and apologizes. And battle coach Bev Priestman apologized and pledged to cooperate with an investigation into the drone spying scandal at the Paris Olympics. Team was deducted 6 points and Priestman was banned for a year after 2 of her assistants were caught using drones to spy New Zealand's practices before their opening game Wednesday.
That's ridiculous. What are we doing here? That is not in the Olympic spirit.
She should coach for the Patriots.
Yeah, exactly.
Is she related to Bill Belichick? Is Bev related?
Bill Belichick's like, I don't know where I'm going next, but you're coming with me.
So, like, ranking your top 3 sports you watch.
Swimming, 1, far and away. Head and shoulders, no doubt about it. I'm the most interested in swimming. 2 will probably end up being the men's basketball. What's 3? I do like the beach volleyball. Beach volleyball's fun. I get into the track. I don't get like crazy into the track, but I like the track. I like the you know, the dashes and the 200 and the 400 and the relays. I don't get too involved in like the longer shit. I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting that I do really like. I don't really fuck with it. Here's my thing about the gymnastics. I don't really fucking get it. Like, they'll be like, oh no, she flinched when she landed. That's going to cost her. And I'm like, what? How do you know? Like, the stepping out of bounds thing I get, but like, sometimes I'll be like, oh, she bounced. That's going to be bad. And they're like, it was flawless. And I'm like, you guys just like make it up? Like, I swear to God that sometimes I just think they've predetermined on the gymnastics and they just go, if we just keep saying it was flawless, the judges have to say it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what they can do, but I agree. I don't know how to score it. My daughter's like really into it, like was obsessed. And I was like, this is weird for her.
Just tumbling around and stuff?
No, she's like attempting to jump. And I was like, you're so white. Like, I don't know what you're doing. Cause like Brittany's all like, she like the Simone Biles documentary. She started crying. She started crying.
When?
Watching the gymnastics. She's like, her road back has been so hard. And I'm like, whoa. It's like breakfast. I'm like, what do you? She's like, it's just such a I'm like, I'm not trying to take anything away. I was like, she's already the greatest gymnast of all time, they say. I was like, so like her road back, like, I'm not like, she dealt with shit, but like, I was like, it's not like she was homeless. I mean, I don't know. You're crying about it. And also, you're like me. You don't know what they're even doing. You just are like enjoying watching this. Like, you don't know what they're doing.
I think it'll be interesting to watch the shit that's in the river that they keep talking about, the fucking E. coli and shit like that.
Sharks in the river. There's
bull sharks in the river.
Bull sharks can go in the river. Snoop goes down there in a scuba outfit.
Yeah.
To investigate.
Fun fact, when we were playing in the backyard in New Orleans, bull shark was one of Eli's favorite things to say. He'd be like, Peyton, I'm going to go down there. I'm going to bull shark. I'm going to go right at Cooper, bull shark, and you're going to just get hit me. And we would do it. And my dad, Archie, and my mom, they would watch. I don't know if I said we're from New Orleans. We're the Manning family.
I don't know if you saw this, and I don't know if they
like that. He's so one way in like football. He's like, everybody's watching football and knows everything about me. And now he's doing the Olympics. He's like, this is me on the world stage. He's like, I'm a football player. My brother plays football. My other brother also played football until he had a neck injury. My dad was a football player. I don't know if you guys know about football. It's not in the Olympics. Why I'm here, no one knows. Anyway, there's no bull sharks in the Gulf, but if there were, I would hit one on a button hook. And you're like, why are you using two hands like you're shaking everybody's head?
And there's actually a fun fact. There's lots of bull sharks in the Gulf. For the record.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Those are the ones that can go
I
to
didn't know that
Mississippi.
because I only played football. I've never been in the Gulf.
Did you see, and I don't know if they've pulled back on this, the IOC went full Major League Baseball. They were yanking down clips people were posting to the Olympics because of copyright strikes.
So dumb. God forbid anybody watches your shit.
Why would they do that?
People are dumb. Well, I guess the only explanation is that they have this I watched the medal events from swimming twice yesterday. I watched them during the day when they were live, and then I watched them again at night when I was like chilling in my hotel. And obviously a big part of the Olympic thing is like the prime time is the day's like big moments. Maybe they don't want that shit shown before prime time.
You know what does suck though now? I'm glad you brought that up. With social media, and obviously this has been a thing for a while. It kind of sucks, I think. I'm trying to avoid it almost in a way because you don't want to know who wins.
Yeah.
I'm not the type of person to really go back much. Oh, you won? And also I don't know if you have Peacock, that's confusing because they'll talk about it and it hasn't aired yet. Like they'll talk about it on Peacock and then let's say it airs on primetime.
Yeah.
On NBC.
And you're like, spoiler, guys.
You're like, okay, Katie Ledecky came in third. Shit, I heard like that happened to us the other day.
Did Katie Ledecky come in third?
On like an early event, she bronzed. But
Oh,
I don't think she was expected to win that one. But I knew, and then I said, I don't want to watch this then.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked at the medal count. Have you looked?
Nope.
The medal table. Japan has the most golds.
Tall ass Asians.
So what matters more, golds or overall? That's what I never knew.
I mean, truly, I think overall matters more.
But it's funny, on the Olympic site, they list it golds. Like they have Japan at 1 because they have the most golds.
But they don't have the most medals?
No, US has the most medals, but it's always fascinating to me to see like which countries.
Dude, like winning a silver medal at the Olympics is a big fucking deal. Winning a bronze at the Olympics is a massive deal. Can you imagine if you just had a bronze medal for the Olympics? They're like, oh yeah, Andy Ruther, bronze medal cyclist from the Olympics. Huge fucking deal.
You know how many girls you could hook up with?
If you're just like, this is my bronze.
Dude, I would just go to every bar.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, you want to suck my bronze dick?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, what? And I'd be like, no. And I just I'd be like, this is my bronze medal. I was literally just in the Olympics.
And be like, you know why I took third? Because the small dicks on the first two guys didn't give him any drag in the water.
There you go.
I had the biggest dick of the 200-meter breaststrokers in Tokyo.
We got some football discussions to have.
I knew we would. Let's go.
I almost want to put that off though.
Okay. Look at Andy.
I just want to put a disclaimer out there for everybody.
I just got back from 10 days and my dog just came outside and saw me and just had she was so excited and warmed my heart. She came pouncing up to me.
Man's best friend, bro.
She's the best.
So I have a recommendation for everybody.
Okay.
Now I'm biased because I'm from here. The Pete Rose doc on Max, bro.
On Max.
Oh my God. They just dropped it last week. It's a 4-episode. They don't shy away from anything. They don't shy away.
Charlie Hustle, or is it just called Hustle?
I don't even know what it's called, to be honest. What is it called?
Okay. Pete Rose doc on Max.
The Pete Rose doc on Max. It's 4 episodes.
Is it like a Jordan style doc?
Covers his whole life.
But I'm saying, is this like, do they get into the fact that he like fucked a 15-year-old and
Oh,
gambled on
yeah.
baseball and shit
Oh,
like
yeah.
that? Okay.
They get into everything.
So it's not like the Michael Jordan version of the Pete Rose story where they're like, Pete Rose hustled a lot and had the most hits ever. The end. Don't Google it.
No, at one point, Pete goes on the doc. He goes, how's this going to make me look? And I couldn't stop laughing. And for someone from Cincinnati,
Pete, this is going to make you look how everything that's ever been written or every picture or video of you that's ever been made you look. And that is like you've never met a barber in your life. Why is this your hair the whole time?
his teeth are so gross now. They're so gross. I mean, he's in his 80s. What's fascinating to me is that the most interesting part about the documentary, you'll actually really like it, is not only does it go through his entire baseball career, again, all the off the field stuff, like where he's from. As someone from Cincinnati, it's cool to see all this stuff. They open, literally the opening scene is when the Bengals are in the Super Bowl and he's talking about how much he likes Joe Burrow. And then he just straight up says, I'm going to bet against him though, because I already have my money on the Rams, which is kind of funny. But what's interesting is
Turned down for never.
yeah, he can't get out of his own way, right? Whether it's with baseball or with him, they go into full detail when he did the reunion at Philly a couple years ago,
Right.
and what he said to that reporter, and then all the other stuff. It's fascinating, but all the players love him. That's what's like fascinating. So all the guys he played with love him. And for the most part, the only one who's really outspoken against him getting in is Johnny Bench. But not just Reds players, all these guys, man. And he's hanging out at Cooperstown and he's with Reggie Jackson and all these different huge names all want him in. You'll like it. And they go into the whole Philly fans and Phillies. I mean, it's pretty interesting stuff I didn't know, like from those 70s squads. And I didn't know, like when the Reds blew, what year was it? The NLCS to the Mets when they had Tom Seaver,
Right.
when the Mets lost. But like it's all there, man. And it's pretty fucking good, I think.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah,
you also got me one. Everything in my queue is Andy Ruther. I gotta watch this Jake Gyllenhaal show. I gotta watch Charlie Hustle now.
He's out of his mind. You'll watch it and you'll just be like, did you really just say that? I mean, the notion that he even still on camera is like, it was 55 years ago. She was 16. You're like, there's just no remorse on this stuff, it's fascinating because you're trying to get into the Hall of Fame and he doesn't see how he just doubles and triples down on everything. And just how, so Al Michaels is a big, they have a lot of big names in a part of it. And they all, I don't know if it's Al Michaels or somebody else. And it's true. They're like, he's a Shakespearean tragedy. And I believe, before even watching the documentary, but afterwards, I believe this even more. He's going to get in when he dies. Eventually.
He's a Shakespearean tragedy because, I don't know if you know this, but Juliet was 15.
But then they go into I'll let you watch it, but they go into the whole thing of like the kid he took under his wing, and then the kid ended up placing bets for him. And I didn't know this. You'll watch this. There's a lot of evidence there that Pete Rose owed a lot, not just the mob. He owed a lot of people money. He was involved in some drug shit too. He denies that on camera, but there's a lot of evidence there that he owed gambling debts. And then he got looped in the cocaine world.
That tracks.
It all tracks.
Yeah.
I almost had lunch with him.
No, I did not know that.
Lunch. So when
Chili lunch?
No, like
Wow, this isn't a chili lunch.
Las Vegas Caesar's Palace lunch.
Wow.
So when I worked at Caesar's Palace, when I worked at the casino in the spa, one of the guys, I don't even know what they're called now, and I assume these guys still exist. What would it be called? It's almost like a personal concierge, but they had I forget what the official title was.
VIP host.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, let's say somebody's in town.
So Pete Rose would come to town, and then the VIP host would get all the lowest level employees of Caesars, and he'd put them on one of those big wheels, and then he'd spin it, and he'd bet on it, and whichever employee landed on, got to have lunch with Pete.
So this guy, that's what he did, right? And I mean, every week he would come in to like work out, and the only people who could work out the Caesar's Palace they had like a state of the art fitness center right at the spa. The only people who could work out were the VIP host and like the CEO, pretty much. But I got to know this guy pretty well, and he hosted all these guys. I remember he'd be like, "Oh, Ludacris was in town. I was hosting him and all his guys," and that would be his job. Take him to the strip clubs, take him to different casinos, whatever they want. But he was buddies with Pete. Pete had and I think he still does, a memorabilia shop at the Forum Shops. I think him and Jim Palmer had a sports memorabilia shop. So he was boys with Pete. And when he learned us from Cincinnati, he literally grabbed his phone and he goes, "I'm going to call Pete right now." And he had on speaker. It's me, this dude, and Pete. And he's like, "Hey, man." I was like, "I'm here with a guy from Cincinnati." He's like, "Why don't we do lunch?" And Pete was like, "Sure." So we had lunch all scheduled at one of the Italian restaurants, the Forum Shops. And I remember he even told me, he's like, "I know you're working, but it's your lunch break. Like, throw on something decent, and we'll go here for lunch," which was pretty cool to think, "Hey, we're just gonna have like an intimate lunch."
And he's like, "So cargo shorts? Is that what we're talking about?"
Pete flaked.
Oh, Pete.
And it never happened.
It's too bad.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get to see that haircut in person, Prano. We actually have a call I'm gonna play though for you about your Mets. I've titled it a little Mets temp check here.
Okay.
What's going on, boys? Calling back once again from beautiful Toms River, New Jersey, home of the 1998 Little League World Series champions. I know this isn't going into dirty slides, but can we get a little baseball talk on DS? It's July 26th. The Mets just beat the scum, the Atlanta Braves, 8-4 or something like that. And then within 15 minutes, the Yankees lose an embarrassing one on the road against the Red Sox. That's a great little sequence as a Mets fan. Just very fun, especially after absolutely smacking them in the Subway Series. Beautiful stuff. I know it's July, but I was out on the Mets earlier this year, and as they pull you back in, and it's just going to make the heartbreak that much worse in September or October. But just a little temperature check for Mr. Prano on the Mets. And the Yankees are such fucking losers. They're such a Poindexter baseball club. So cringe, so embarrassing. You play Frank Sinatra as your win song. He's from fucking New Jersey. He's not even from New York. And we play Ace Frehley. It's fun. New York. Cocaine. It's cool. Not fucking Sinatra. Give me a break. Fucking, top button done Poindexter fucking baseball club. Snooze fest. Losers. Go shave your beard, you fucking clowns.
Well, obviously, I could not agree with Kyle more about Yankees baseball, Yankee fans, just generally. Yeah, every Yankee fan I know is a fucking dork. The temp check on the Mets is, I don't necessarily think that this is the Mets year, but crazier things have happened. It feels like the last few years in baseball, you're like, okay, fucking, I didn't think it was the goddamn Rangers year either. We had a very interesting, the few, the month plus, whatever, the month, the borderline 2 months since Grimace threw out the first pitch, is, saved the season. The Mets were, 6 weeks ago, I was like, the Mets aren't doing shit this year. I don't give a fuck. We have Grimace. We have a turnaround. We have the return the other day, Kodai Senga, and you're like, holy shit, the Mets are gonna be fucking legit. He comes back, he looks great. He fucking tears a whatever in his fucking, God knows what, tears some fucking thing covering first base or running for a pop-up, whatever. And now he's done for the year, at least probably until the playoffs start. So we were that close to getting back who would have been the ace on the team, and that would have been a game changer. That being said, the vibes feel pretty good. And then they go out and they get your boy, Jesse Winker, hardly know her, Met Killer. Does he play as well as a home Mets player as he always did as a visiting Mets player, both with your Reds and the Nationals? I don't know. We'll see. But it certainly lengthens their lineup. Francisco Lindor has been fan-fucking-tastic lately. Pete Alonso has his worst year by far, and they're still in a playoff spot. So if he happened to turn it on, things could get really interesting. JD Martinez has been a nice, consistent, sturdy guy, sturdy vet, additional lineup. Jeff McNeil was awful to start the year and has come on like fucking hotcakes. So I'm excited that the Mets have some vibes. I don't feel like, unless some sort of major move is made here for a starting pitcher, I don't really love their chances, but at the same time, vibes can go a long way in baseball. A long way. So, could be interesting. I feel like the Mets have had some vibey teams the last few years. Peaked a little early a few times. Maybe this is the right time of year. Maybe it could be possible. Listen, the Mets catchphrase is you gotta believe. So let's see, but I like it. The Mets have, like Kyle said, I was out, they pulled me back in. And perfect timing for it because we're in that sort of lull. Now I got like some Olympic swimming and Mets games. Let's go.
What's he got against Frank Sinatra?
I don't think he has anything against Frank Sinatra, but I think he's saying that the Yankees' use of Frank Sinatra is cringe. I certainly don't have anything against Frank Sinatra, but it is kind of a fucking dorky, like, when your team wins. And I've always said this, even when I go as a Mets fan to Dodger Stadium, when the Mets lose at Dodger Stadium, I always go, well, I get to hear Randy Newman. Like, that piano coming in, it's a pretty fucking great thing. New York, New York. It's not a joyous song.
I disagree. I think it is a joyous song. You don't think it's a joyous song?
Celebration,
What would you do instead?
Well, the Mets do Back in the New York Groove, and it's way better.
But for the Yankees.
I know. I mean, what do you do? I don't know. Do you go Jay-Z?
They're never going to change that.
No, they're never going to change it. But that's the thing. It's old.
Well, you could say Randy Newman. When did that song come out? 80s?
Yeah.
Here's what is interesting about Frank Sinatra. When I hear Frank Sinatra, I think more Vegas.
Right.
Than I do New York. That is true.
It's not like it's upbeat. It's not like it's like,
well, what was that terrible rap song that my friends and I hated freshman year of college? Uptown Baby. Uptown Baby. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
What is that song? That New York rap song? Oh, what is this is gonna kill me. That was like part of the refrain.
Is this fabulous?
Lord Tariq and Peter Guns.
What?
You've never heard this.
I mean, maybe I have. What?
Lord Tariq featuring Peter Guns. They literally filmed. They're like doing a Yankees game. Is this it? Is this
I
the
don't
wrong one? I'm losing my mind. No, this isn't even it. It's a different song. Oh yeah, this is it. But the best part is, oh, they're actually at Shea. You've never seen this?
No. And are they? And but they're all on Yankee shit, pretending they're at a Yankee game.
Yeah, hold on. You've never seen this? Can you even hear this?
Well, barely.
Yeah. Why does it not connect? Hold on. Let me share my screen. Let me see if you can hear this now. Can you hear this now? It's not connecting
Oh,
to
it's
me.
fucking Wyclef. I can hear it.
You can actually hear it?
Yeah.
New York to the heart, but got love for all.
Oh, okay.
In the fire where I learned the ball.
Yeah.
It's the place where I lay my dome on the streets.
Dude, they're at Shea, right? Wearing Yankees
Yeah.
gear.
Yeah.
Peter got a player haters can feel the flame from my heater. I never really
In their Bronx shit in Shea. That's pathetic.
Dude, I used to hate that song. Like, I used to hate that song in college. That makes it even worse. I guess I wasn't really ever paying attention back then. That's unbelievable.
They're like, we're gonna get Yankee gear. We're gonna fucking wear Bronx shit. We're gonna film at Yankee Stadium, the house that Ruth built. And Pete Rose like, bet you don't. I got 5-1 says you don't actually. Hopefully Shea's open.
We had some big NFL news recently.
Hit me.
2 big contracts.
Oh, bro, we nailed Jordan Love.
We were pretty close.
We fucking pretty close, dude. Did you see somebody fucking
On Substack?
put our call? I tweeted it.
Oh, really? It's on Twitter?
Yeah.
So
not that anybody saw it because we're shadow banned.
So what was the prediction?
It's all in the tweet, buddy.
Well, shit, dude. I don't. Yeah, the
Yeah,
shadow ban thing is. 'Cause I'm not even.
You're like, I can't find myself. Here, I'll pull it.
Okay, I got it.
You got it.
So the prediction was 4 years, 217, 162 guaranteed
It's for Jordan Love.
for Jordan Love.
Yeah.
It ended up being 4 years, 220, 155 guaranteed.
Pretty amazing, dude.
Pretty fucking close. So Jordan Love gets that. And then Tua.
Tua.
Tua. He gets 4 years, 212 with. I don't even care about, like, to me, the total guarantee is all that matters. 167. He's getting more, most likely 167 guaranteed, which is 7 million more. Although this is Sports Track, this is a little different than what we just went over. I mean, everybody's going to know what we think about the Tua deal.
Yeah. I like the Jordan Love deal a lot better than the Tua deal, that's for sure.
What else does he need? would be my argument to any Tua backer. What else? You have Jalen Waddle. You have Tyreek Hill.
What are you talking about, Andy? You've done this. How many times have you done this? He needs a defense. He needs an offensive line. He's getting killed last year. He's getting killed.
I just don't get it. I don't know how anybody could defend Tua at this point. How are you defending Tua?
Because you're a Dolphins fan.
But again, my point is like they've went out and they got him weapons.
Well, of course they got. That was when he started being good. Remember Tua before that?
He was pretty mid.
Don't make me do the Daniel Jones Tua between so many games thing again. What's so funny is I get called out for all the time. I'm the only football fan on planet Earth who's like, my quarterback's mid as fuck. You homer piece of shit. Tua is Jones is Lawrence, and I'm the fucking crazy one.
So, both guys get a lot of money, and I think a lot of these guys are overpaid. But what's crazy is we've seen Jordan Love in the playoffs win on the road already. We've seen him win a game. Tua's never won a playoff game.
Right.
It's just crazy to me that there hasn't been a team that just says, no, you're not worth it. I can't believe there hasn't been
amazingly, Andy, it was only the Redskins.
I mean, it really is. So, I want to debunk this comment right here in YouTube. So, if Jordan Love deserved to get paid, so did Tua. I hate both, but Tua had 500 more yards. So, it's basically the same.
Oh, this year? Jordan Love's first year and Tua's sixth with Tyreek Hill and Waddle?
Fourth year as a starter.
Oh, okay. I guess, you want to talk about the
also real quick,
evolving of football fans. Bro, the games get played. That's such a fantasy football comment.
It really is. Sorry, Jeff. It is. And also Tua had less touchdowns and more interceptions. Dude, here's my thing. And guys, I know you're sick of hearing it. What are you doing for me in the playoffs, man, too? What are you doing? Jordan Love won, not only to win, he had a damn near perfect quarterback rating on the road against the Cowboys. Then
surely Tua, this isn't the first year Tua was in the playoffs.
Well, he was hurt the year before.
I know, Andy. I know. I know.
Look, Tua's fine. He's fine in that system. I would never want Tua as my quarterback ever. Never. I'm going to say that on record. I don't think Tua wins in the playoffs. He's shown me nothing that he's going to win the playoffs. The same way I'm critical of Lamar Jackson. You've shown me nothing that you're going to win the playoffs so far. You just haven't. Jordan Love has shown me something. He's already won a playoff game. Then he went to San Francisco. They didn't win. They had another good game. He's shown me something. The one thing Tua has shown me is that he can succeed and he can excel when he's loaded with talent, whether that's Alabama or Miami. Where was he before Waddle? Where was he before Tyreek Hill?
Well, let's pull it up. So if you take Jordan Love's second and third season, and you take Tua's first and second season, because Jordan Love didn't play at all. year one. Jordan Love played 21 games, and Tua played 23 games. Jordan Love has more yards per attempt, more yards per game, more passing touchdowns, a higher rating. More rush yards, more rushing yards per attempt, and more fantasy points. Tua has a higher completion percentage and ever so slightly more passing yards in 2 more games. And 4 more starts.
My list is short of quarterbacks that I trust or quarterbacks that I think can go far. It's a short list. So I wanted to
vote 2 of the best receivers in football.
Yeah, I mean,
he's Mike McDaniel.
So like this comment again, it takes time to be good. I agree, it does. But in this modern NFL, yes and no. Like you knew instantly certain guys if they have it or not. You knew right away what Mahomes was. You knew for the most part what Burrow was, what Josh Allen were. You knew. Even Lamar Jackson, you knew. You knew what those guys were. It didn't take 4 to 5 years. That's all I'm saying. It didn't take 4 to 5 years on these guys. That's my window. At this point, Joe, if I am a general manager, if I'm an owner, I know on that first 5-year contract, I know after year 3, you know. I'm not saying you got to win a Super Bowl by year 3. I'm not saying you got to even make it to the championship game, but I feel like I know after year 3. That's me. Maybe I have too short a leash.
Well, 3 years as, a starter.
As a starter.
3 years as a starter, 3 years depending on the situation. But like
your boy Daniel Jones, I was out on him after year 3. I'm like, this guy, I would never want him. Dak Prescott, I don't want.
And fucking Dolphins fans are probably absurdly upset that we're even talking about them together. But he's won a playoff game and Tua hasn't. He went on the road and won a playoff game.
If I asked you, what is the identity of the Miami Dolphins? What are you telling me?
I mean, it's obviously like the run it up offense and the like no defense. And so then you're out there and you're going like, well, what is that? How is that Tua's fault? And it's like, because how do you, like, they went out and they traded a bunch of people and they spent a lot of money on Tyreek Hill. They have Waddle. They just gave Tua $55 million a year or whatever. Like, I don't know how, like, there's a reason Patrick Mahomes doesn't have Tyreek Hill and Tua does. One needs him, the other doesn't.
Yeah. But you answered the same way I would answer. If somebody said to me, what are the Miami Dolphins? They're fun to watch, especially when the offense is going. But that offense can also just disappear.
Yep. Like against good defenses?
Yeah. It's not how you win in the NFL. It's definitely not how you win in the playoffs.
Tua is Ty Detmer.
Well,
Tua. No, I'm not saying in the NFL, but like,
BYU.
You know how all through our like younger days, like they'd be like, who's gonna win the fucking thing? This kid from BYU or this kid from what? And it's always like some whack, crack conference. We're like, he's throwing for 700 yards a game. And then they're like, 11-0 BYU. Finally, with their test, they're gonna play the 4-5 Colorado Buffaloes from the Pac. And then they're like, they lost 63-10. Just play anybody who's not a whack team, and they get their ass kicked.
Hey, Detmer. It's a nice little throwback there. Did he win the Heisman?
Yeah.
They're not even gonna. I know. Again, it's not hate. It's just how I feel. The Dolphins are not going to cross my mind. Not going to cross my mind to compete in the AFC. They didn't last year, and they're not this year. They're not going to cross my fucking mind. And maybe I'm a homer. I don't know if you call it a homer or whatever. But someone like the Chargers, I have a better chance because coach and quarterback. And I don't even care that Harbaugh hasn't coached in the NFL in God knows how many years. He's going to build a team around a defense, a line. Even a Sean McVay, another offensive genius, kind of in the light of, Mike McDaniel, even that same light. What did he do? He got a fucking defense, man, right away. By year 2 of Sean McVay running the Rams, he said, we need a defense. This whatever they're doing down in Miami, offense and playing.
What are the teams that set the offensive records in, like, when's the last time a team that just like came out and set offensive records ended up winning it? You had that Denver team where they were like, holy shit, they got their ass raped in the Super Bowl.
Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriots team lost in the Super Bowl. You got to go back to the greatest show on turf that went to 2 and only won 1.
Yeah.
And almost lost that one.
True. Again, it is the way it is, man. That's how you got to win games. It's pretty.
Even the fucking Chiefs team that made it against the Bucks.
Yeah, boat raced. It wasn't even a game.
And then they were like, it's Tyreek Hill.
Even that first Mahomes MVP record-breaking season, they didn't even make it to the Super Bowl.
And remember that game we went to?
Yeah.
That
Rams Chiefs Monday Night Football.
Yeah. The Rams scored more touchdowns in that game than they scored points in the Super Bowl.
Brady versus the Falcons. There's a lot of points that game.
Yeah, but were they like a record-setting offense?
I don't know. Probably not.
A lot of offense in the Eagles past Super Bowl too, but like these weren't teams that were like setting off. My point is, like,
you're saying record setting,
not a model. A model like we win every game 41-10 is not a model for success in the NFL.
No.
We win every game 41-10 except for the games we lose 10-6 when we play a good team with good defense. That's not a model for winning in the NFL.
No. It's definitely not. Well, it's here. Look at us getting amped. It's fucking here, baby. Hard Knocks starts. Olympics are going to end. We're going to just cruise right on to this football season. My final NFL Sunday ticket payment. I just got an email today. It's like, your payments are done.
Your payments are done, man.
2024. Here we go. Let's fucking go. Give us a shout. Hotline 310-359-8365. We got a call today. Had me laughing.
All right.
had me really laughing. And then I'll get to it after we play what I did. Where's the call?
Hey boys, Brian Heinrich calling in again, and since it's kind of like the doldrums of the sports here, I figure maybe you guys would be interested in hearing like a funny, like dirty sports story. Like years ago, I was on a road trip with my dad. He's driving, I'm listening to dirty sports with my headphones on. My dad asked me, he's like, "Hey, what are you listening to?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's this, it's called the Dirty Sports Podcast. They talk about sports, but they're funny about it and shit." And he goes, "Hey, obviously I like sports. Like I'm down, throw it on." So I'm like, "All right, bet." I put it on, and Andy was in the middle of talking about a certain hookup story. So I tell him a little background, like, "Oh yeah, and this guy Andy, he like fucked this chick, and he's like talking about her, like that's what he's talking about right now." And not 30 seconds after I put this podcast on, and just as I've kind of set the backdrop to it, I hear Andy talk about how this woman told him that her husband was jerking off the dog. Mind you, like my dad enjoys like crass type humor and all that shit, but like here he was thinking you hear like some football talk or whatever, but no, head first into some bestiality story, and he's just dying looking at me going like, what the fuck is going on? And I just gotta sit there like, "Dad, I don't know. I'm as shocked as you are. I promise. This is the first they've talked about dog rape."
First time
Anyways,
me.
I figured that might give you guys a laugh. Because, out of all the dirty sports episodes and stories, my dad's first experience was the dog jacker. So, stay dirty, boys.
That's amazing.
So amazing. And then he's like, I didn't, my dad really he put this podcast on the side for a little while. And he was like, I don't know. And then I was in the car with him another time. And he was like, "Oh, maybe we'll give that dirty sports one more shot." And I picked up where the last episode was playing, and John's jerking off onto a turtle. And now my dad doesn't talk to me anymore.
So here's what I did. So Brian, when I heard your call last night, I was turned into a man possessed. I said, I gotta know. I gotta know what episode. I gotta know when this was actually discussed. So that was discussed on episode 325.
I was going to say in the threes.
July 6th, 2017. I knew in my head it was right after July 4th because she came to visit me July 4th weekend. So here's what I'm going to do. I already have it sitting in garage.
Let's go! Let's go! Yeah!
Here's the thing. I don't think the full episode is nearly as entertaining.
Yeah.
And this is just gonna be like a Substack subscriber exclusive. It's about 15 minutes, the discussion, but I think it's worth it. Like I was listening to this, I had forgotten how wild.
A lot of people don't know this, but bestiality is one of the audibles that we use when I was on the 2014 Colts.
So what I'm gonna do this week. Again, I was listening. I didn't listen to the full episode, but I was going through the description. I was listening to the segments. The other stuff wasn't as good, or maybe you guys want the whole thing.
Yeah, I say fire it. I think it's always good in context. Like what else was going on?
Okay, well, it is later in the episode. That's another thing. Like it's not early on.
Well, you can put it in the description.
And here's another gem I'm gonna give you guys. Substack subscriber exclusive only. I still have her Bumble profile.
Let's go.
Now I'm gonna blur out. I know you guys aren't gonna like this. I'm gonna blur out her face.
Just blur out. Just give us like the bar across the eyes.
She was so crazy. I screenshot that, and I had forgotten, Joe. I don't know if you remember this. He was like 5 or 6 years older than me.
I did not remember.
Yeah. So this was 7 years ago, and I say on the show she's about to be 42.
Jesus.
That was 7 years ago. I forgot how big of a drunk she was. It's all in there. And you're just like losing it. You're just like, what the fuck?
I love this.
So that's going to go up this week behind the paid wall. you're gonna get. You want me to do that whole episode?
Yeah, do the whole episode.
Okay.
Give us a time code of the dog story. You know.
Okay, so you get the whole episode, and then you'll get as well her Bumble profile.
Yes. This is what Substack's about, dude. Football season's about to be lit.
Now, I'll let you guys listen to it. I'm not going to give anything away.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
That is amazing, though, that the first episode your dad heard was me talking about how she walked in on her ex-husband jerking off their 210-pound Mastiff.
Crazy.
And you had so many questions about that, which I thought was so funny.
The number one being, what about the nut?
And you know what, Brian? I'll tell you what, man. You left that call, and then I look at my life now, and I couldn't help but be like, man, I've come a long way.
Really
7 years. I'm like, I got a little girl. I'm like looking at the baby monitor. I'm like, I got a little girl. I'm like living in Cincinnati in the suburbs. Whereas in the past, I'm just having girls I don't even really know flying to visit me and just making some just reckless decisions. All-time story. Which, by the way, I don't know if you remember this. It's all connected. You know why? That was I met her in San Francisco.
I know.
That was the same weekend of the Tonga room.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I remember that.
And also, I had just learned about John jerking off on a turtle 2 weeks prior.
Yeah, I know.
It's all connected.
It's all happening.
I mean, that one San Francisco trip gave us a lot.
Yeah.
Like that trip gave us
Fat Jason Kidd. Cat Jason Kidd.
Meow. Hey, Cat Jason Kidd, are you on Cameo? Because my daughter loves cats. like how much for you to do a cameo, Cat Jason Kidd, to dress as a cat and wish Isla like a happy Catter Day or some shit.
Happy Catter Day.
Guys, give us a ring, 310-359-8365. That's the hotline. Because you give us this. Like, that's the thing. You never know when you leave a call, you can give us content.
Yeah, exactly. I got nothing this week. I'm on running on fumes tonight, Andy. So follow me all the places.
Well, someone's gonna be getting $100 on the Andy Ruther show.
We love to hear it. So
we reached the goal of 100 reviews between Spotify and Apple. So next episode, I'm gonna do a drawing. Somebody gets a fat hundy on their Venmo. But if you don't listen, you might not know.
Right, there you go.
Just saying. All right, guys, that is the show. You guys can see Joe at Yonkers this weekend. All right. Have a great start to your week. We'll be back, I think, on Wednesday because I got a guys trip this weekend.
Cool.
So,
that sounds good for me.
Wednesday night?
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. We'll see you guys then. Have a great week. And as always, stay dirty.